Hello again. Welcome to Along the Rock, our podcast that pays homage to the people of the Sauk Valley and the river that runs through it. I'm your host, Mark Morris. Joining me today, Connor Self, and he'll be talking about the D8 conference. What is the D8 conference, and what does it do?
Well, Mark, again, thank you for inviting us to come and speak with you today. So the D8 Summit Charity Gaming Convention is an annual event. This is our 10th year that we've hosted it here in the Northwest Illinois region. And it's an event that celebrates community and gaming. We get together and in an intimate setting, we sit around, we play board games, we play card games, we go out to eat together, catch up with each other, and just enjoy the social atmosphere that playing games can create. We've done it for 10 years. The event started 10 years ago as a charity fundraiser. And then from that initial charity fundraiser where we raised money to help with tornado relief for the tornado that hit Washington, Illinois, sometime back. Sure. Maybe some of your watchers remember it. We grew into a full-fledged 501c3 charity. And we try to go out there with these game-facing events and community building and fundraising to give back both to the community of people that enjoy games, but also to our wider community as well through block grants to support various community initiatives. There are so many great causes in our communities that don't receive a lot of attention and don't necessarily receive a lot of funding. And a lot of those local causes are run by groups with very, very tight budgets. Sure. They don't have the big marketing budgets to be on television and run telethons. These are local agencies that are the ones actually passing out food and help in the communities, getting their hands dirty. And we try to in our fundraising efforts to give money back to them because they do a lot of really direct good with that money.
From what distance do you draw participants to the summit?
Well, so our event draws people to the community from not only from the United States, but we've also drawn people in the past from other countries. We've had people come to play with us from Malaysia. We've had,
really?
That was a fun time. Like, where are you from? Malaysia. Wow. Okay. Well,
how'd you get here?
Airplane. No, it's like, but people come in from all over the country to enjoy these games. There is a very active, very social community of people who like this because board games they hit a little bit differently than computer games. A lot of gaming now, people play it in computers and they can play it online, but when we're talking about like board games and card games, the draw there is to be together in person. And so
it's a different dynamic.
It's a different dynamic. And so we try to bring people together around a shared table. And so that table might have a game on it. That table might have a dinner on it. But whatever we can do, we try to create that space where people can be with each other, sharing a game, sharing a story, sharing a meal, sharing life. And enjoying themselves. And it just so happens that we're able to do that in a way that helps some good causes. So it's a win-win.
Win-win, yeah. I'm assuming that the World Wide Web it has something to do with the fact that you're drawing from all over the globe.
It does. And, the World Wide Web gives us the opportunity to talk about our event nationally. And so that's where a lot of folks have found out about us, or they found out about us from some other events. This particular region of the country, the upper Midwest, in a lot of ways is a hub for gaming. And so, no, we don't have Vegas or Atlantic City, but some of the quintessential games that created this genre, everything from Parker Brothers to to TSR, the company that founded Dungeons and Dragons. All of those started here in the upper Midwest.
Yeah.
And so there's a huge draw in this region of the country for those sorts of interactions. And some very large, high-profile events happen here. Gen Con is in Indianapolis and draws a couple 100,000 people to attend. We just had Gary Con in Lake Geneva. That drew 4,000. I'm a guest of honor at Gamehole Con this year in October. That's in Madison. It draws 8,000 attendance.
Wow.
And these people come in from all over just to see other people share their games and enjoy their passion for a weekend.
Yeah. I was trying to think in my own head what it was that would draw people to this area, and then I realized that we're still getting some of that as at the end of the cold winter.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and you know what? I think there's a lot of passion for board games and card games because we've got months where outside isn't a very good option. Right. But you know, it's always as long as we got a comfortable home, some nice furniture, some warmth, and a table to play a game on. You know, families and friends have gathered for card and board games for years. I remember growing up watching my parents invite friends over.
Oh, sure.
They would sit and play euchre or rummy, and just share that conversation. Maybe have some meals. It's something that even to this day I still continue to do with friends here in the community. Like every Sunday night, we know it's board game night. We gather around the table. We've got some drinks. We've got some snacks. We put a board game in the middle of us, and we just share a couple hours.
Is there an entry fee to take part in this?
So D8 Summit runs entirely off of donations. So we have there is an entrance fee, and it's based on how much you want to donate. And so there's different perks. If you donate a little bit more, you might get a custom plush or some neat dice. But all of that money, from the cost of entering you might kick $8 to play in a game for 4 hours. All of that money goes in the pool that goes to charity, and so that's how we fundraise. We also have we got cool things that people can pick up if they want swag. We're very proud. Our friends at Lair Brew this year gave us some custom plushes that would look great on anybody's shelf. An artist, Joe Abareno, has donated some artwork. We've got some neat charity auctions. Hasbro, one of the biggest board game companies in the world, they donated some events and some things to hand out to people this year because we're on the radar with some of these larger companies. So that's how we raise money through people paying for those or getting swag or trying to win an auction or whatever. It's the funnest way that we can think of to raise some money for great causes.
Call me silly, but do you attract any pros, that is, professional gamers?
So, funny enough, yes. So there are people in our community that make some of their living, if not all of their living, off of games, and it's not just like in Vegas, you've got professional gamblers.
Sure,
that's not necessarily the case in the sorts of games that we're playing, but we do have people, influencers, or content creators, or game designers who do come out each year to support. And a lot of the games that we have that are ran by the people who wrote the games or developed them. So you can actually sit at a table with the people who created the game that you're getting ready to play. And that sort of intimacy and community feel with the people who are doing it is one of the draws of our event compared to some of those larger ones. In a room full of 200,000 people, your chance to interact with folks who create the games that we love, very, very small. but in a room filled with 150 people,
sure,
it's different, right?
Yeah, yes, it would be. And if you have any questions about rules for a certain game,
you've got the people right there, right? If you don't know what to do, you're like, hey, what's the rule on this? And the fun thing about it, like These are folks who design games for a living. They're like, I don't know, what sounds the most fun? And you hear it from the person who designs a rule. Well, what sounds the most fun? Yeah, do it that way. Because in the end, that's a lot of what it's about. Like, yeah, games have rules and everything. They give them structure. But really, it's just about having fun with people. And the people who design the games, that's what they're doing it for.
Okay, now what are your dates this year?
So our event this year is from April 25th to 27th, 2025. We're at the Post House Ballroom in Dixon, Illinois.
Downtown.
Right downtown, close walk to restaurants, and other forms of entertainment. The hall is open. We open the doors at 8:00. Games start at 9:00. We have games that run from 9 to 1, 2 to 6, and 8 to about 11:30 when we close up the doors and then come back the next morning at 8 a.m. So it's 3 days of just games happening around the clock. Anybody that's interested, you can go to d8summit.org, our website.
Say that again slowly.
D8 summit.org has a direct link to our 2025 event where you can check out badges and look at some of the events that we have and find out more information about what we do.
Okay. I have a 9-year-old great-granddaughter who loves to play games. In fact, she and her family live about 5 blocks from us in Dixon. Uh-huh. And she comes over and regularly plays all the board games that my wife happens to have and has collected because of her, and regularly makes up her own rules.
Good.
She doesn't always tell us, but she makes up her own rules. She may be interested in this.
Yeah. Well, so we've always prided ourselves in being a very family-friendly event. And so we have gamers as young as 8 who will show up to play games. They'll come with their parents, and we try to take very, very, very good care of those kids. Our onboard training for our volunteers that are giving their time with these games is, if you see a kid in that room, you treat that kid like they're your kid. You treat them real good. Explain everything to them. Try to know who their adult is.
Do they have to bring an adult?
Yes, they should bring an adult. We ask that anybody under the age of 13 have an adult with them at all times.
Okay.
For everybody's safety, but also a kid under the age of 13, they might need help with those games, and they might have individual concerns that are particular to them, and so we ask adults to be there playing games alongside along their littles. But kids at the age of 13 or up, we still ask that adults be there and present, but maybe they play at a table separate from their parents, and they're okay with doing that.
Yeah. Well, that's something for me to do in the next couple of days. Let Skylar, is her name, know what's going on and see if she wants to go with. I'm guessing that she and my wife might go together. If not, maybe I'll go with her.
There is a very, very fun My Little Pony game that draws a lot of younger kids to play it. They get to design their own pony, and then they get to play through a story where they solve problems using friendship and magical powers.
Sounds creative.
That's very much a My Little Pony thing. But there's a lot of really fun things that we do as far as like just bringing in the plushies, but also asking the kids how they're doing with it. We get to know what the kids are running around, high five them, and ask them how their games are going. And it's a fun energy, and it's neat to know because a lot of our games that we enjoy so much now, they started in the 70s, and they would have quickly came and left if it wasn't for kids getting interested in it and growing up in it. Like I had mentioned, games were a huge part of my family. Mm-hmm. I grew up watching my parents play cards. That was my inroad into games now. And that's a culture that I use in my work in the schools here, where I use games to teach skills and use games to teach ethics and problem solving, and seeing the kids come through, and then they continue with their passion of loving games. above and beyond computer games when they're interacting with their friends. It's a wonderful thing.
Excellent. Connor Self has been our guest, and again, if you want more information, and I know, God knows the young people know what to do, but d8summit.org. That's d8summit.org, and you can find out more.
Yep.
And if you happen to be a little older, like yours truly, you can keep that written down and go in there yourself. So, Connor, I appreciate it. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Thank you so much.
You bet. And Connor Self has been our guest today, and I'd like to thank him for coming up. Also like to thank our crew for putting this show on the air, so to speak. I'm Mark Morris. Hope you can join us next time along the route.